Welcome to Pax Europiana, ahead of the EU G7 and NATO summit, calling for financial serious engagement to win the war. I call, of course, for a big new debt package of the European Union to be able to fund the Ukraine's victory and the reconstruction and the EU integration of Ukraine, Georgia, Kosovo, Bosnia, Serbia, all the countries, Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro, all the countries must be in the European Union. That's a major financial effort, but it's also including the European rearmament. It's including the energy costs of the energy transition away from Russia. This is the most important priority to fund this energy transition, also to absorb the shocks of the Russian war on our economy and dilute it over the long term via debt is much better than having inflationary immediately in our economic system. And then also to have the nuclear deterrent funded, the extension of the French nuclear deterrent for all Europeans funded by the EU, and also then European rearmament, not nationally but European-wide. This must be all done European-wide and funded European-wide, all EU countries via the budgetary process, via a new COVID-style package. And if Lindner doesn't like it, it's his problem, but this is the best way to do it economically, politically, and very, very serious effort has to be done in that way. COVID was more for the southern Europeans. Now the eastern Europeans bore the brunt of the economic shock, and the Ukrainians the brunt of the Russian aggression, and so they have to be supported. Additionally, all the infrastructure which we have not built the last 30 years, and all the transition away from Russian electricity, railway, whatever kind of military hardware, this must all be gone. The end of the Soviet Union legacy in whatever infrastructure in Ukraine, in whatever kind of nuclear legacy, environmental crisis, this must all be funded together, because we see now the Romanians have still the Soviet Union kind of railways which we now rediscover and renovate. I mean, it's totally crazy that we have done so little in the last 30 years in Eastern Europe, and we now need to fund that together. So that must be the EU package, 1.5 trillion. But additionally must be Japan and the G7, the US. They have done something, but it's by far not enough. We need to really mobilize the arsenal of the free world, the arsenal of democracy. Lend-Lease was in today's terms $1 trillion for the Soviet Union alone to fund victory. So similar efforts must be made to fund now the defeat of Russia in this war. And we are just very much in the beginning. Now the Americans have $54 billion they have funded, Europe even less. So we are just in the beginning of a long struggle, and the financial direction of this struggle, the financial fundament of victory must be laid by the Euroization of all currencies in Eastern Europe to have a firm fundament and not constant currency crisis. And of course also by the financial support mechanisms for these countries, for reconstruction, for armament, for infrastructure integration, and for economic adoption towards the European system and towards the free world. And this must be all done together. Additionally, what we need of the G7 summit is a big yes to a free trade agreement between all G7 countries. So we need to adopt the Mercosur agreement. We need to get the free trade agreement with America done. Done. It was a big mistake. We haven't done it. And then we need also to upgrade the EU-Turkish customs union, offer them a currency peg, and stability economically for Turkey is also very important. And we need also to make sure that we have a global, stable economic, food supply and energy system, and the G7 must secure that. Obviously by boycotting Russia, but by opening the markets in the agriculture towards Latin America, and in the field of energy towards Indonesia and towards the Gulf Cooperation Council, by concluding free trade agreements with the European Union between EU and Indonesia, almost ready, blocked by the palm oil populists. Then we have a free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council EU, blocked by some protectionists like Mr. Lange. and we have of course then all this big FTA with Mercosur, and the FTA of course very important with the United States of America, our key ally in NATO, and we are not able to create a fair trade agreement. It's for chicken, Chlorine chicken. It's a Russian victory if we don't manage to do that, and we should not grant them such an easy victory. Obviously everybody do a similar stability pact like we have it done from the G7 in Cologne in '99 for Kosovo and the Balkans, but luckily we have that organization already. It's called the Regional Cooperation Council, so means that Ukraine and Georgia should also join the Regional Cooperation Council, and by the way recognize Kosovo and get decent in your foreign policy. This is very logical financial package in my view, the euro for all countries as a firm fundament, and then hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars poured into Eastern European infrastructure and in the energy transition away from Russian nuclear power plants in Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, towards westernization of these power plants, and away from Russian gas in Germany and Austria especially, but also in Hungary and in everywhere, for example, also in Ukraine. It's a big problem. We have the next winter coming. Now it's very hot, everybody's sweating, but the next winter is just 6 months away, or even only 5. Can be cold very soon in Ukraine, and then we have a big energy crisis because we have not the full interconnectivity of our energy systems, because we failed them so long and because we were too thrifty to do it. So this needs a huge financial effort to Europeanize the Ukraine energy system, and this must be carried as well by the European taxpayers and by the EU and by the G7 partners. If we are not now at this summit very generous, then make the big package, then when we will do it in September, then we will find out, like we constantly find it out now the last 3.5 months, that we are always too late with a measure, always too little, always too timid, and we have not made the right financial conclusions, military, industrial conclusions, as if we would not see what's happening, as if we would be just naive children, and that's absolutely wrong. We need a major financial package to lay the fundament for industrial victory, financial victory, institutional victory, and then leading to military victory. But the economics and the financial situation and the currency must be the fundament for victory, as it was in the past. It will be also today. So that's why I call for a big EU package, but also a very big effort of the G7 and of the IMF to secure the financial stability of Ukraine, put it on a firm fundament with the euro and with a financial package which allows victory. And victory in a military confrontation is always very much dependent on the fiscal, financial, industrial, technological background of the winning side. And so in the short term, obviously the weapons decide, but the weapons are an expression in steel and in manpower of the industrial fiscal capacities of nations to wage war, and they depend very much on which currency and which fiscal background, which technology there is. And we have to put all the Western arsenal of democracy to the supply of Ukraine and stop this a little bit tit for tat kind of hapasapi, this small, that was Albanian, this kind of small, timid, step-by-step approach. But go all in fiscally, financially, technology-wise, and support and make sure that the war is shorter because of a victory of Ukraine. And here there's the hesitation, and here then we do only this step-by-step thing, and then we have ideology, like the Greens want no nuclear, Lindner from the German liberals wants no debt on the European level, and some people don't like coal, and so on and so on and so on. And because Russia wins because we don't like nuclear, or we don't like coal, or we don't like debts on the EU level, and we have all these ideological kind of funny debates about fundamentally against coal. Nobody likes coal or nuclear per se to eat or whatever, but they are one of our energy sources. We cannot exclude them just because we don't want them. That's impossible. And we should really be rational in this and have a clear priority mix where we really want to win the war, the confrontation with Russia, and then we can postpone the coal exit and the exit from nuclear, and we can also make compromises on debt. Do I want debt? No. Is it necessary? Yes. Let's do it? Yes. Do we do it because the FDP doesn't like it, or the Greens don't like it, or whatever? Greta Thunberg doesn't like coal, or there's 1,000 million people who don't like some things in the European Union. But when you want to win a war and a very big fundamental political confrontation between Russian autocracy and European freedom, then you have to see where the parameters are shifting, and then you produce more nuclear, then you produce some decades more coal, and we have done it for 250 years. We can do it for another 10 years. We can do nuclear now 50 years or 70 years, and then we do it another decade, and it's not a fundamental problem if we win the war, and if Ukraine wins, we all win together, if we somehow defeat this authoritarian aggressive challenge. Yeah? And so we need to get this done, and if we have more debt, yeah, we can repay it because we are working successful and winning economic and military system. We can repay even $1 trillion debt in 10 years. It's not a problem because we have 500 million taxpayers, and it will be absolutely fine. But we cannot somehow say in September, oh, we were surprised. We didn't know there will be winter coming. Oh, it will be cold. Oh, if we would have just done the debt package, if we would have just changed our energy system in winter, when it's then November and it's very cold, that we need to restart the nuclear and the coal, it will be obviously very short term. And then it's very cold, and then we give up, and we say, oh, we stretch our weapons, and poor us, we are too silly to win. And that would be very disappointing. So G7 and EU do the fiscal and currency and energy sector decisions that are necessary to win this war, and you cannot blame that you were not informed. Just watch my videos. It's absolutely logical what I'm saying, and I call for that. Let's put the economic fundamentals of victory in place this week. Thanks a lot. Bye.